Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another Strange Road Gem stream. I am your host, Strange Road Gem, and today we are going to be getting back into our Conceptis Puzzles portion of the stream. I got some more videos uploaded, so I'll be taking care of that. Getting some more videos ready to be released, and then we'll be tackling some Final Fantasy VII later on tonight, so look forward to that. So, got some move some things around and all that kind of jazz. So everything's looking pretty good so far, but obviously, everything's not at 100%, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So. Okay, so you're also going to have to kind of forgive me because my nose is running a bit, so I'm probably going to have to mute at times to blow my nose. So sorry about that. Just decided that you needed to run right now, right then and there. It's like, God, catch it, put it back on. Okay. So today we are going to be tackling the Link-a-Pix and the Block-a-Pix. Both of which are both medium, and they're both fairly large puzzles. So likelihood is, I have 2 days left on this. Probably not going to be able to do both. So I think I'm just gonna, just tackle this Link-a-Pix medium, and that's probably going to be it. That's probably, it's probably going to take me a good, 2.5 hours or more to tackle this. If I get it done quickly, then great. I might attempt the medium plus on the other one, but there's not a lot of time left. So, and these tend to be quite extensive. Um, so let me go ahead and get this started here real quick. Okay, didn't really see that as happening, but let's. There we go. Let me maybe extend this out a little bit so my face cam doesn't block anything in particular. Sorry about that. Let me get the window open so y'all can see it, and there we go. Okay, I think I can make it smaller for everybody. Yeah, I mean, I kind of put my um, face cam in a good spot. I mean, I know that it's super small. Apologies on that, but having it kind of, blocking some of the values that were up in the upper right-hand corner there was, um, you know, distracting to me. Just kind of seeing it there, and I didn't necessarily want anybody having any problems with that. Um, so obviously, oh geez, there is a lot of yellow. That's not great. Um, okay, so let's go ahead and start tackling all the ones on the screen because obviously those are the easiest to handle because, you just click it once and you're good. There's no linking involved when you're dealing with all the ones. Um, so let's see. And then we'll move on to the twos and then the threes, and then we'll start getting into the larger numbers, which will probably require a lot more thought and work. So, okay, I don't really see any additional ones right at this moment in time, um, so we'll just go ahead and tackle all the twos there. Hey there, me. How you doing? Um, it's quite okay there, me. Um, the the live stream is still there, so you're always welcome to go and check it out. Um, and I know like time zones can be a problem, and like people can be busy and stuff like that. So don't stress about it. No worries. You catch when you can catch. Um, everybody has lives that they need to take care of. So it's all good here, man. I'm not gonna, I mean, what am I gonna say to you? Oh my God, how dare you miss a stream? I don't want to see you anymore. It's like, what? Don't sweat the small stuff, dude. Enjoy when you can, where you can, and, have a good time with it. That's all I can ask for. So, if you get people that like give you a hard time for like not being able to make a stream, then I don't think that they're worth it then. If they're giving you a hard time like literally like yeah, I mean, obviously, I can say like sarcastically, "Oh my God, how dare you? Oh, what am I ever gonna do? I'm never gonna recover because me just could not watch. Oh God." You know, I mean, no. But um, but if someone's like literally giving you a hard time for it, then no, I don't think like that's scummy. I don't like that kind of thought line. Why should someone like give you like super hard time when like you might be like you might be dealing with something like super serious, you know? Um like for example, you know, um everybody in California right at this moment in time, or at least, Southern California is dealing with a lot right now. Okay. And so there, I wouldn't necessarily, of course, if anybody's like watching this after the fact, this is when like there's a number of wildfires going on in Southern California right now, that are, not only burning a lot of brush and sweeping throughout, a lot of, um, mountainsides, which, you know, a lot of people are stupidly, saying, why hasn't this been managed? It's like, oh God, they don't know. I've lived in California, so I know how difficult it can be to handle brush management in California. So, people there that are like, people that are outside of the states going, outside of California going, uh, they should have done a better job. But it's like, okay, yeah, you're being stupid. Um, but like everybody in Southern California, they're going to be having a hard time right at this moment in time. You know, they're dealing with other things that are on their mind. So, you know, so I'd rather have them, handle the situation that they're in than, you know, like, you know, like, it's okay to, have like some relaxing time, obviously, because obviously you don't want to be like stress all the time. That does no one any kind of good if you're constantly stressing. Um, but at the same time, um, I wouldn't want them to, um, lose focus on what they need to take care of either. So that's all. So it's all good. No worries on here. I'm not gonna give people a hard time when they're not here, because I know, like, as much as, some people might want to always, like, be, like, watching streamers or, watching videos that provide them some amount of entertainment. I mean, life has to come first. You have to kind of tackle, um, certain situations that you need to deal with. And, I know that, hey, it kind of sucks in some ways that, you're having to, um, tackle some pretty difficult situations. But, I mean, that's part of being an adult, unfortunately. So, you know, I know a lot of us might want to wish that we could stay kids forever, but we can't. So, so it's all good. No worries on that. It's quite hilarious, you might think to yourself, you know, um, back in the day, you probably were thinking, oh my gosh, I really wish I was an adult. I could do so many different things. And now, it's funny when now that you're an adult, sometimes you kind of wish that you could go back to being a kid, right? Sometimes. Um, my childhood wasn't exactly, uh, you know, rainbows and all that kind of jazz. So in some ways, I'm okay with being an adult. you know, Life started getting better for me when I basically hit college. To be honest, you know, for myself. Let's see. then when I hit college, everything started kind of, um, you know, I was able to kind of do things that I kind of wanted to do, myself. You know, I didn't have anybody like, breathing down my neck going, you have to do this. It's like, I don't want to. So, hmm. Okay, you are just gonna go straight up. Because obviously you can't go to the right here. It would block off this other 16 there, so. Okay, and there's that. Hmm, that's about as much as we can do there. Hmm. Obviously this 6 can't go down like this. You won't be able to reach another 6, so it has to kind of go out here. So this is going to get pushed all the way over here and then down like that. Which means that goes out there. This 6 comes out like that. Hmm. Now it could go down here, which would kind of push this to kind of wrap around like so, but it could go up and around like that too, so I don't really know. There's that. Hmm. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Straight down like that, and then we move those around. Hmm. Okay, well, obviously you can't connect those together like that, so it has to come all the way out there like that, huh? Okay, interesting. Hmm. Okay. Now, obviously, we can't take this 11 around like that. That would cut off this 4. So this 11 has to kind of go up this way. Same problem with this 18. If I do something like that, it cuts off these 4s. So this 18 is also having to kind of go up here. Hmm. Okay, this is this is a bit problematic because sure, these two kind of connect with each other there, right? Because obviously that 4 can't go up there and this 4 can't, go out like that. So these two kind of connect with each other. Obviously these 4 can't, these two can't really connect with each other. So really this one right here can only connect with that one. Um, no, there's something wrong here. I must have screwed up somewhere because this isn't right. Because, I'm looking at this and going, okay. Oh wait, I know what I did wrong. Okay. I need to go down with this 18 and around like so. I was about to say because, you know, I was looking at this and going, okay, if I move that up there, sure, but how am I going to get this 18 to go out here and this 12 to go out there and them kind of sharing the same space there? It's not going to happen. I can't do that. So obviously we have the 18 going down like so, which it's not perfect there, but there we go. So obviously this 12 is going to be coming out like that. Okay, okay. But so what have you been up to there, me? Staying out of trouble, I hope. Okay, then we have the 7s going out like that. We have the 12 going around like so. There we go. And we have this 12 that has to maneuver around like that to make use of everything that we can. So, okay. Let's see, if I do this 18 around like so, I can connect with the 18s like that. That does leave some room enough for the 7s there, and obviously leaves enough room for the 5s there, but is it correct? That's correct, okay. I was a little worried about that. I was like, well, am I, you know, um, is there like any other way that I can kind of do, work this 18, you know, and like have a different way of what the 7s, but no. I can't really see any other way, you know, so. Hmm. Okay, it's a straight shot there. 14 comes out with this, which means our 6 does pretty much a straight shot like that. And then, yeah, wraps around like that. Okay, 12 is a straight shot. Okay. Hmm. comes down like that. The 3's connect there. There we go. Let's see, 12. It's pretty much a straight shot, I would imagine. I don't really see any other way to do that anyway, so. Now, if I was to do like 14, around like that, obviously I'd be blocking the 16, so that's not possible. There's no way here, for this 14 to, to get around through here and let the 16 work. So the 14 has to kind of go out this way, which there's a 7 coming out like so. Have to come up there, and now obviously there's no other 14s up there, so we kind of need to go in this general direction here, wrap ourselves around and connect. And this is pretty much a straight shot there, and this connects that way. Okay. Alright, how's our time allotment? Are we doing okay? Yeah, we've about 30 minutes so far. Okay, let's do 12 down here, 4. Okay. Okay, so this 20 isn't going to be going up here anytime soon because there's no like 20s up here. The other 20 is down there, right? Um, so most likely it's going to be like going down or going to the right. Not sure exactly where for the 20 yet. We'll get to it. But the 16 here, doesn't have any 16s down there, so why would it go down, right? So my first inclination is having it go up and to the right there. We have the 11 here, which if I go down, not only do I block, the 6s from connecting, but I also block the 16 here. So I'm assuming this 11 is going to have to go up. The 6, if I go out that way, that means the 16 will have to come down here, which, I would have to have this 9 kind of go around, and obviously, as you can see, there's not enough length for that 16 to kind of go around like so, right? So, so I would imagine that, this would have to kind of go up, which would block the 6, so I'd have to kind of wrap this around like that. And we have our 16 kind of being pushed around like so. And obviously our 6s have to connect that way. Our 9s, obviously, we can do that, but obviously, as you can see, it's not a straight shot. So I don't know, like, are we having our 9s kind of curve around that way to connect? Or does it connect over, does it wrap around here? I'm not sure. So we'll have to kind of leave that alone for right now. Straight shot for the 11? No, so we'll have to leave that one alone as well. Okay. Let's see, 6 can't go up and around to the left, so we have to kind of go to the right, which, the only other option is to just kind of wrap it around like that. 12 goes up like that, 16 comes down like so. not a straight shot to the 16s there, so I have to kind of be careful along those lines. Okay, now obviously the 16 here can't go down around like so to try to connect to that 16 because, I mean, for one thing, there's not enough room. Another thing, we're cutting off this 5 there, so that's not the route for this one. Um, or, you know, even if it was to kind of go straight down like this for this other 16, again, you know, we're cutting off the 5s. Not possible. So the 16 has to kind of go out that way. Now, obviously, we can't go up and around. That cuts off this 16, so we're going to have to go down. We can't go this way because, once again, we're cutting off the 16 and 11 if we try to go up here somehow. So that's not possible. So we're going to have to go down. And again, if I go that way, we're cutting off the 9, so can't do that. So we're going all the way out here for the 10 with a 10. If I go right, like so, we're kind of cutting off this 16 here with any other 16. So I'm assuming this 16 will connect with this one, but we're going to have to kind of go around like this. So, which makes these 6s connect that way. We have the 16s connecting here, and then we have the 5s connect there. Oh boy, that was a thing. Uh, okay. Let's see. Hmm. The problem that I have with, so one problem that I have is these 4s right here, right? Like, this 4 can connect with that 4, or can connect with this 4. Obviously I can't connect with that 4 over there, but, it has 2 options that I can choose from. Same with this 4. I can connect with that one, or I can connect with this one. It's like, god damn it. They're nice and evenly spaced out and causing myself some problems on that one. So I don't know exactly how to, what, what is needed for these 4s. So, at least not yet. Um, is this straight shot down? Yeah, I think so. There's no other 7s around, so 15 goes up there. Actually, it could go there. Although trying to make it go around like this wouldn't work. There's no other 15s around here to go off to the right, so But I could still kind of do something weird like this or something like that. You know, although that wouldn't necessarily work now, would it? Hmm. We can connect it that way, or we can connect it that way. Don't really know. Hmm. Okay, 9 comes down like so. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. And can't do that. There we go. Hmm. I mean, I could connect it that way for those. Or, this one connects with this one over here, like that. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Connect it that way. Ooh, can't do that, huh? I think I'll have to do something like that. I need to probably make use of a lot of room here. Yep, okay. Uh, excuse me. Stretch. Forgot to fill up my water jug. I'll probably do that during the just chatting. I still got some drink here, so it's not too much of a worry. But you know, um, gotta have more in the refridge so that I can always stay hydrated. Hmm. I don't know, man. There's a lot of there's a lot of room in these puzzles right at this moment in time. Obviously, we can't connect these two together. So that leaves this one and this one to kind of connect with each other, which doesn't really leave a lot of room. So like that. Hmm. Excuse me. Shouldn't necessarily be tired. I think I had plenty of sleep. Just, I don't know. Hmm. Okay, if I do 8 down like that and try to move across, it's not gonna be able to meet up with that other 8. So I'm gonna have to do this, I feel. Which means this 16 is gonna have to kind of go up like so. And then I'm not quite sure where to take it. Hmm. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'll say. Like, if I have the 5 kind of connecting this way, right? Then that means this 14 is gonna can't go around. If that was the case, which it's not, because, obviously, if I try to do the 14, I would have to try to extend it all the way out to there in the hopes that, I might be able to kind of like, maybe get all the way over to like maybe this 14 all the way over there. It's not going to happen. Um, so one way or another, this 14 is going to have to kind of wrap around like so, one way or another. So that means this 5 is going to have to kind of go around and connect that way. Um, which, this 14 is going to have to kind of come down and like connect with this one. This 14 is going to have to kind of go this way because obviously if I go around like that, that cuts off that 4, right? Um, so this 14 is going to have to connect with, well, like this 14 over here maybe. How and why, I don't really know, but, one way or another, um, we're going to have to work on that, which means You know, this 4 will have to connect with that 4, and this 4 will either have to go this way or that way. Don't really know, but either way, those two are going to have to connect, which means this 14 is going to have to go up and around like this. I mean, it's pretty much a straight shot to this other 14. I just don't know where I might need to kind of curve it. So, you know, I'm gonna have to go all the way down there. But, like, I don't know. Is this 4 gonna, like, come out this way and connect? Is it gonna go straight up and connect? Is it gonna do a little wave there? Don't really know. Okay, if I move the 16 one up like so, then I'm gonna have to try to get this 12 to go all the way around to maybe attempt the other connection with the 12, but as you can see, it can't. Um, so what I'm probably gonna have to do is just kind of bring this kind of straight across like this. It's gonna come out like so. And I mean, I think all that is good so far. Yeah. Um, hmm. I mean, these two are going to need a lot of room. So, probably going to need to kind of wrap around like this. Hmm. Okay, hold on. Let's double check our work. Zeroing links, okay. Hmm. For a second there, I was thinking to myself, oh, I need to get, these two 14s to connect with each other. But I was like, well, wait a minute, hold on. How can I connect these two 14s together with each other? Because if I do something like this, sure, I might be able to connect these two together, but I'm basically leaving this 18 to try to like go around like that, which kind of kills the 6 there, kind of thing. And same thing if I try to do 14 down here to try to connect with that 14 there, where I'm cutting off the 6s. So I'm like, going, wait, what am I doing there? And me stupidly forgetting you have a 14 here, Jim. It's going to connect with this 14 here. How? Don't really know, but I mean that's the connection. It's like missed a couple. My brain cells didn't rub together very well on that. All right. Um. Okay. Okay. Sorry, looking at Discord there for a second. Saw a notification up, so wanted to see what it was all about. There's some notifications that are trying to stay active. I try to, just so I can, um, like, there's a couple channels that I'm connected to that are kind of meant to hopefully help me out with, finding some work, but so far I've been met with silence on it, so that's been kind of a little bit of a frustration. But I mean, not much I can really do about that. Um, the um, and I also try to keep an eye on um, other channels, other um, content as well. So, hmm, makes me think. I wonder if Kermit ever created himself a Discord. Hmm. I'll I'll tackle that in the just chatting section. He hasn't, publicly announced it, or at least, he hasn't, I don't think he's really ever mentioned it prior in Robot. I don't think Crazy has one, I don't think he's ever promoted it to anyone, most, other than like maybe his channel itself. But um, I don't think he's created one himself yet. But then again, sometimes if people are very silent, then I might miss some things. So, um, hmm, like for example, um, I know, like I sometimes see Kermit on Discord, but he doesn't always hop in. So not sure if he um, just doesn't bother with it. I haven't heard from him in a while. I really probably should check in with him and see how he's doing. It's been a long time since I talked with him. You know, we did. For those of you that don't know, we kind of met. I forget exactly which game it was. Was it Borderlands 2 that we met up, or was it World of Warships? Can't remember. Hmm. Oh, um, but but I haven't really heard from him in a while, so really should check in with him, see how he's doing. Well, I don't know there, folks. There's a lot here that feels like, I could basically take it any direction that I want to right at this point. And I I know that this 16 here can't go up and around like that. That blocks off the 14s. Can't do that. So I know somehow it has to kind of connect down here, but it could go, up and like that. You can cross that way or could just go straight that way. Don't really know. Same with these two 14s here. Does the 14 here kind of go straight across like that and up? Does it, goes, to the right, up and then connect, or does it go up and then connect? I don't know. That's the problem with these 14s here. So not sure which one is right. So I know that this 5 has to come out here because if I do like straight up, that blocks off these two 14s from connecting. Can't do that. So it has to go out at least once there. Problem is, does it go up and then across? Does it go straight across and up? Does it, have to kind of go in the middle and up? I don't know. I'm not sure. So, um, I mean, I know that these 14s need a lot of room to be able to connect. Matter of fact, it looks like it needs all the room in order to connect. So maybe that's the thing. Okay, looks like that worked out. So, okay. Let's see. All right, it's close to about an hour already. I mean, we've done a fair amount of work, but obviously, as you can see, I'm kind of getting to a point where, like, I don't know what direction I need to go in order to get these to kind of solve each other, kind of thing. So I'm gonna need to kind of, you know, we're at that point where I'm gonna just have to like say, okay, we're gonna pause, and we'll come back to this at a later time. We'll come back to this tomorrow to continue it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save it for right now, and we'll just go ahead and close on down for the time being. So we'll go ahead and attempt finishing this off tomorrow on that. So um, I knew that it would be very unlikely for me to kind of finish this off in 1 hour. That would have been, kind of amazing if that was to happen. But um, typically things like this, take a little bit of extra time to, figure out where everything else is going. So yeah. Um, but for now, that's where we're going to go and end this portion of the Conceptus stream. So hope you all enjoyed that section. I wanted to thank me for stopping on by. Or me okay, by the way. Just in case anybody's kind of wondering, there's a chatter in my chat that said hi. So um, want to thank them for stopping on by and chatting with me. Appreciate that. If there was anybody else that was just kind of wanting to lurk and was just kind of lurking, thank you for being here. Appreciate you doing that, taking your time out of your day to kind of lurk in the background. Um, Thank you for being here. Like and subscribe would be fantastic if you could. Be a great help. Check out all the other gaming channel or gaming playlists that I have. Um, you know, Check out all that content, all the VODs that we have there. Um, you can still watch these live streams. I don't block them or anything along those lines. So, I mean, if you want to watch these all in one all in one sitting, have the live channel there. So you're welcome to kind of check that out if you're interested in that. Um, but I try my best to try to you know move games to their own respective folders, so their own respective playlists. Um, so if you're only kind of focused on like one particular game or one particular coding session that I do or something like that, I try to keep them fairly organized and set. But that's going to be it for tonight's Conceptus. So I'm going to thank you all for joining me um, on this session. Take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.